Let's see, should we get started?
Yeah, I feel like this is a good time to start.
Cool. Yeah, we have about 15, 16, 17 people here. Let's get it going. So this is a Bay Area Artist Census informational webinar. So if you're here to learn more about the Bay Area Artist Census Fellowship specifically, you're in the right place. And we're going to do a land acknowledgement. Vital Arts acknowledges that we exist on land that was stolen from its indigenous occupants and forcibly colonized for the purpose of resource control and financial profit. In this process, the land and people that belonged to it were displaced, subjected to cruel and inhumane treatment, including forced migration, enslavement, and the stripping of their rights and destruction of their cultural identity. We recognize that imperialist and colonial destruction, that this imperialist and colonial destruction is ongoing, and we urge you to support Indigenous organizations and individuals who are working to repair their legacies and lineages. And then it has the different tribes and folks, or different organizations also. I don't want to mess up with their names, but there they are. And it says these are some of the tribes that are historically occupied this land, the Ohlone land. And yeah, and this is actually a land acknowledgement that we borrowed from Artist Space Trust, who we work closely with as well. So we're gonna do some welcome and introductions. So Vital Arts is, the organization that is hosting this fellowship and this webinar. Um, And Vital Arts was established in 2016 as a tribute to the 36 artists who lost their lives in the Ghost Ship fire. Vital Arts was born to honor the memory of those who sought a haven for their art and lives. Our mission is to transform the conditions in the Bay Area so that the artists can survive and thrive in their communities. We advocate for folks who are historically left out of conversations concerning housing, particularly queer, trans, BIPOC, and disabled artists. And this is me. I'm Mariela Perez. I am the Program and Operations Coordinator. I am an artist and also a housing justice advocate. And yeah, I'm going to be going through again the Bay Area Artist Census as well as the Bay Area Artist Census Fellowship, for which the deadline for it is to apply is in a week, which but we're going to go over all of that. Here's a quick agenda. So again, I'm going to share about the Bay Area Artist Census, a little bit about a lot about the fellowship, and then there is a Q&A section at the end of the webinar. If you have questions throughout the webinar, there's the functionality or the ability to be able to type them in. If you just look at the bottom, it says Q&A, you're able to type in those questions right there. Um, so yeah, I encourage you to ask questions if you have them. If you think of something, when we are doing the Q&A, you can also just share the questions then too. Mhm. So what is the Bay Area Artist Census? Let's see. So the Bay Area Artist Census is an artist-led initiative collecting real data and stories. It is the first of its kind, and we will be specifically surveying Bay Area artists. It's going to center, equity is centered, so it's prioritizing BIPOC, trans, LGBTQIA+, immigrant, and disabled artists. The purpose is to understand the real needs of Bay Area artists and then to be able to use the data collected to turn it into metrics that can be used for storytelling and advocacy, with the larger goal being to influence policy, unlock resources, and amplify artists' voices. And what that is going to look like at the end of the whole process, it'll be the outcome will be a toolkit of the findings that will be compiled and available for anyone in the community to access online. And so the fellowship itself is how this project will be completed and this data will be collected. It is the first of its kind artist-led data and advocacy project, specifically, again, surveying artists in the Bay Area. We get to lead and determine what stories are being told with our data rather than it being in the hands of funders, cities, etc. It is an 18-month fellowship. So if you're interested in the fellowship opportunity, this is going to be an 18-month fellowship. that is going to be broken down into 5 different areas. So there's going to be a community engagement area, census design, data gathering, reporting, and artist-led advocacy. We'll be selecting 6 artists, one representing each of the selected counties, and those counties are Alameda, Santa Clara, Solano, San Francisco, San Mateo, and Contra Costa. So if you are an artist or an arts worker that is within these specific counties and you're interested in the fellowship, definitely apply. The actual time commitment will be an average of about 5 hours a week over the course of the 8 months, with some hours being a little bit more sparse in the early stages of the fellowship, and there being a little bit more time dedicated to planning community engagement events or getting folks to fill out the actual census, like maybe like towards the middle or end of the fellowship. But the 5 hours are pretty fluid. But again, more sparse in the beginning, and then as the project itself starts building, it'll pick up a little bit. And so what you'll gain as a Bay Area Artist Census Fellow, there is a $1,000 monthly stipend for the duration of the 18 months. There is a network with artists, leaders in our community who will be leading some of the workshops as well as the work itself. And you'll be able to build community as well with folks in different counties within the cohort and just, the artist community in general. During the monthly meetings, fellows will attend workshops on the topics of arts advocacy, community organizing, civic engagement, and then storytelling and data analysis. And so the fellowship breakdown, so to recap a bit of what the 18-month fellowship actually looks like, it is going to be starting this upcoming September 2025. And so there will be like a standing monthly meeting, which is going to be on the first Wednesdays of the month from 4 to 6 p.m. So we're asking folks that are interested in applying to please be available during, the first Wednesdays of the month, specifically during 4 to 6 p.m. Um, we did get a few emails asking about whether these meetings were going to be in person or online. It's going to be a combination of both, a hybrid, mostly virtual for the most part, and then there's going to be some in-person meetings, especially since everyone's going to be like in different counties. And so just to make it a little bit easier to gather, it'll be mostly virtual. And then throughout the course of the fellowship, you're going to be receiving mentorship, leadership training, and then you're also going to be collaborating with one another as a cohort. And so digging in a little deeper with the fellowship, as a fellow, you will host community events in your community. You're going to co-create and help design survey tools that will be used in the Bay Area Artist Census. You're going to protect data sovereignty for vulnerable artists. And in a few slides, we'll touch a little bit more on what that looks like. You're going to share findings through creative storytelling, advocate for change, housing, healthcare, fair pay, etc., and collaborate again across the counties throughout the Bay Area. So again, if you're interested, we urge you to apply. And so digging in a little bit more about, who should apply. It might be you. If you are an artist living in one of these 6 counties, which again are Alameda, Santa Clara, San Francisco, Contra Costa, San Mateo, and Solano, you qualify to apply. If we're looking for people that are passionate about social justice, equity, and the arts, people with experience in research, community organizing, and advocacy. Strong critical thinking skills are a plus, and as well as strong ties to the diverse artist communities. And we do want to give priority to artists who have been working within their community at least the last 2 years. And we also want to say we want to encourage folks from BIPOC communities, LGBTQI plus, and disabled artists, as well as pretty much anyone, system impacted creatives to apply, because we need your voices, just very importantly. And so How do you actually apply? So you can access a fellowship application by going through our website. Our website is vitalarts.org. And then if you just want to navigate our website, check out, some of the other programs that we have. But there is a section specifically that is for the Bay Area Artist Census. So on here, you'll see the link at the bottom right corner, just Bay Area Artist, oh, vitalarts.org/BAAC. And then we're going to take a quick look at some of the application questions. This itself is not what the application is going to look like when you click on the link. This is a PDF of what the questions are. It is one of those applications where you can't save your work and then come back to it later, unfortunately. But essentially, we're going to be collecting general, information about yourself, what kind of mediums your art practice is based in. Let's see, maybe can we scroll a little further down? Whether you're a culture worker, a lot of this is just trying to get to know you a little bit better, trying to understand, who you are as an artist, who you are as a community member, who you are as a person. And so we are asking for work samples from the last 5 years, which we're going to go into that a bit in a second, a CV or resume, and at least 3 references, either professional or artistic. Um, and so deadline to apply again is July 23rd, which is in a week. Finalists will be interviewed and you'll receive an email for the interview early August. And the fellows will be selected and invited to the fellowship mid-August. And so let's go to the next slide. Okay. Oh, there it is. So again, a few people also reached out to ask about work samples. So just kind of wanted to review what the work samples are. We are accepting work samples from the past 5 years, and we really want to, you know, encourage you to send over if you have any like portfolios, sound recordings, videos, writing, um, social media pages where your art is, or websites. For the social media links or websites, we're not judging you on your artistic merit. We just want to verify that you're an artist and have been working within your community. We encourage samples that are exemplifying your art practice, community engagement work, and outreach and writing style. And also, I forgot to say this earlier, but your samples should take 5 minutes to review total. So, don't send us like a 30-page short story or something, because again, they're only going to read about 5 minutes of them. Okay. This next part, in my opinion, is one of the bigger portions or bigger parts of this whole project itself. Since the census will be collecting data from our artist community, data and data security is a huge part of the project and something we're taking very seriously, especially given current times. We will be working with a research group called the Creative Equity Research Partners to anonymize and aggregate any data that's collected and keep folks safe around documentation, gender, etc. We are taking very serious precautions, and data collected will not be able to be traced back to any individual that fills out the census. And so we want fellows and the community to lead the community engagement events to, again, better understand what is important within these communities. And so this data is going to help us tell the stories and be able to really like shape like and say like, hey, we need like this county is like really in dire need of more affordable housing. I mean, I feel like that's the whole Bay Area, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there are specific needs within each community that will be highlighted within these findings as well. And it's just to better understand what the Bay Area artist community and it is, and again, have them be the driving force behind how their stories are shared and where advocacy efforts should focus on according to our findings. And then at the very end, I think I mentioned this at the beginning, but at the very end, the data will be used to create an online toolkit that will be available and made public for anyone to use. So if, like let's say someone wants to use some kind of data relating to artists um, for like a research paper, they would be able to like pull up the toolkit and pull data directly from there. Well, that was, I feel like I kind of ran through that, but it was also like very repetitive information. I feel like I was saying the repetition at some points, but this is going to be the Q&A section, which I'm glad that there's actual time for that because we have been receiving quite a few different emails asking for just different things. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them either. Well, I was gonna say in the chat, but that might be a little bit harder to find. We do have the Q&A section at the bottom, and then
Yeah,
oh,
I'll pop in. We have a couple of questions so far. The first one, which I'll just answer for everybody, was how are the fellows paid the stipend? Is it through direct deposit, cash, etc.? Is this considered a W-2 1099 or grant? It is a contractor position. It's a 1099 position, and so because the hours are pretty open and this is how our funding works. We will, have you fill out a W-9 and likely everyone will be paid via bill.com. We do accommodate folks who need different methods of payment. And so if that's something that you need once, you're accepted into the fellowship, then we're happy to accommodate that. And the next question is, how is this program related to GAP, the Grassroots Arts Advocacy Fellowship? So it's not directly related, but it is directly related in many ways. The GAP program and the Census program, also just so you all know, I'm Sharmi. I use they, them pronouns. I'm the executive director of Vital Arts and yeah. Um, and so they were kind of founded together. The Grassroots Arts Advocacy Fellowship, the fellows kind of get to make their own project, and it's really focused on, I think Oakland, and San Francisco. So it's like it has like a smaller reach, in terms of the Bay Area. But it is very much focused on, kind of like political education and training on like a legislative advocacy level. Um, our program, the census, is very much developing, but we're kind of focused on the actual like the stories that we can tell with the numbers and also really trying to make it clear what the material conditions of artists are. We work with unhoused artists. We work obviously with all the various systematically oppressed groups that we mentioned before. And, people don't understand that many of us are maybe like living in a warehouse with 12 other people or living in a living room and like what those living conditions are or how much of how many hours you spend a month working on art and how much of your income is actually in comparison to that. So these are the kinds of questions we're kind of thinking about and in working with each of the community the census fellows will really be kind of parsing that out more. Um, okay, so the next question, will we be involved in the creation of the toolkit itself? Um, yes. And so the actual like creation in terms of like the web design, like you won't be like writing the CSS for the website or anything. And we are working with creative equity research partners. To kind of aggregate the data, really dig into our data security around everything, and then also, help parse the data in ways that we can really like utilize effectively. But but what it looks like the design, like all of that will be like major input slash like leadership from the fellows, if that makes sense. Oh, I answered that live. Um, okay, what kind of work experience are you asking about when you say working in your community? Is that like exhibiting art locally or like grassroots work, etc.? Um, And I think there's a lot of different ways to kind of think about this. I think it really depends on like what it means to be exhibiting your work locally. Like if you're exhibiting and your work is like very much tied into um the communities that you represent, I feel like that or is speaking to that. I think that's something that we're very much looking for. Grad community organizing does mean so many different things.
Mhm.
But even just like, curating events for your community or curating, an art show or yeah, if you are working more in the grassroots towards like different issues that you're passionate about, all of those I think we'll kind of like whatever can really help build the full picture of like who you are as a person is really are really like the things that we're looking for. So it can kind of cover different things. And it's okay if you're like, I've been working on art and my research practice is like this and like la 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 la. But I think we want to see that it like does exist in community in some ways and has like some kind of like feedback relationship with it. Um,
Yep.
okay, so there's quite a few more. Um, um, Evan, I am going to get back to you on this question. Um, and so I will get back to you a little bit later. Um, What kind of community engagement events are y'all envisioning? We are like not like fully defining what that looks like, but the goal is to really like bring together artists in your county. And some of the counties are really huge. You might not be able to like just do one or just do two to like cover everybody, but you will be part of designing that. And so I think thinking about like what gets you excited about the possibility of engaging community. But what we have been doing is these kind of mixed like art and action type events. And so being like mixing a, workshop with uh performances or we led a dinner with like underground artists that brought yeah nearly 30 underground artists together where we were kind of able to just have these like pointed conversations with them about their needs. So I would think about how can you really get the information that would make you feel like you're in integrity about um what the design of the census is going to look like. Like, I want to ask these questions because these are the concerns of the folks in my community, and how do I get that information, and how do I get people to show up, you know? Um, so
Like some of the earlier community engagement events are probably going to look more like asking those questions like what is it that you want to see us like focusing on within the census as we're building it, so it is essentially like you're going to be in conversation with your community, and again like Sharmi said, that could happen through events where you have maybe like a dance class or something, and then there's a bigger workshop on the census itself.
um okay.
I'd like to pop in and share that there's also been a question in the chat from Rick Darnell. Where will there be money available for ASL?
We do have funds for interpretation of various kinds. So yes. Yes, that is important to us. Um is the data collected for in terms of age? Does it include youth? At this moment, we are not including youth, but that is something that the fellows can kind of determine together with our research partners. Um, if that answers your question. Um, uh, okay, so accessibility and disability justice. Well, I think really are a huge, everyone on our team is disabled. It is definitely a priority. It is something that we have really kind of um, put into the kind of like basic framework of the project development. There are partners we're considering working with around kind of developing that further, but I mean, some basic things for folks who might have different interpretation needs, we're happy to provide that. We will be have captioning. We will have various, so for like for us, depending on what type of gathering it is, in person or online. I think we are interested in having a hybrid option for the things that just come up for sick and disabled people all the time. But we are still kind of like building out everything that this looks like. But thank you for asking that question. And if you send us your email, we can kind of go deeper into it as well. Um, Okay, did that one. Oh, there's lots of questions. Um, are you looking for diversity in artistic discipline as well as the counties represented? Yeah, I mean, we will have only one fellow from each county. So that is in itself the diversity, but yes, for sure. That is something that I think we're not like highly prioritizing it over maybe some of the other things, but it is something that we're very interested in specifically because the needs of folks who have different mediums, like the needs of a dancer or a welder or a sound artist are all very different. And so, yeah, that is important to us. Do projects you've worked on at your job acceptable for the portfolio if they relate to community art offerings? Um, I think I think it would be helpful for you to kind of email and expand on that. I'm not fully sure if I understand the question. If it's something that you've like co-curated with your place of work, I think that could be a potential. But I think if it's something that you've worked on that was maybe curated or created by somebody else that um, you know, yeah, I think that's kind of complicated, but maybe you can send us an email and we can talk more about that and think through it.
I wonder if it's related to like work that people do as cultural workers, maybe, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I would say send us an email and we can kind of go deeper into that. Is there funding for childcare? At this moment, no, but that is a great thing for us to think about, and thanks for asking it because we can add that to our list of yeah, just possibilities. And then let me see. Um, is there any other questions?
Yes, if you have any questions, please feel free to either put them in the Q&A or in the chat. We're looking at both. And then yeah, if you like again or want to see where the application is, although there are some links in the chat if you look through the chat, we have been adding links of the application and our website on there. But if you have any questions later on, maybe you want to like, absorb all this information that was just shared and something comes up later, feel free to send us a message. This is my email right here, mariella@vitalarts.org. Um, the deadline to apply is again next Wednesday, so there's a week worth of you being able to work on your application. Again, we want to encourage you to apply if you're interested in data collection, if you're an artist, if you are an advocate, this might be a really great opportunity for you. Definitely apply. Any final thoughts? Oh, Sharmi? Let me see. Oh, yeah.
I don't think so.
Can we make an appointment for a one-on-one meeting? Yes, if you what was I gonna say? If you send me an email, I can send you my Calendly link, and then you'll be able to we can schedule something through there. And that's definitely something that is available for everyone if you want to like just chat one-on-one and ask some like questions, just yeah, definitely feel free to use that email address to send me a message. And if you know anyone that's gonna that is interested in applying but wasn't able to attend this informational webinar, we're gonna be uploading this to our YouTube channel, so we'll be posting it online. We'll be sharing that link as well soon. Yes, Rick. So we'll have that. Oh, the slideshow. Yeah, we can share the slideshow as well. If you wanna, if you're interested in receiving the slideshow, send me an email and we'll send it to you. Any last minute questions, y'all?
Okay, well, let's give everybody their meeting back and or their time back and end it.
Yeah, have a good one. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You have a week. Good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.